The internet loves a scandal, but not everything that goes viral is real. Recently, rumors exploded across social media claiming that Eddie Murphy had been arrested and directly implicated in the ongoing Diddy trial. Videos surfaced with bold headlines, tweets trended globally, and YouTube channels rushed to cover the supposed bombshell. But here's the truth, none of it happened. The story wasn't just exaggerated, it was completely fabricated. Let's be clear. No court documents, no news outlets, and no legal testimonies mention Eddie Murphy as a participant in the case. Fact checkers have confirmed this repeatedly.
Eddie Murphy's name never appeared in the official proceedings, testimonies, or even in the background materials presented in court.
The entire rumor seems to have stemmed from misinterpretations and viral speculation. Some people pointed to old texts between Diddy and Cassie Ventura as a possible source, but even those made no direct reference to Eddie Murphy being involved in any criminal activities. So where did this start? It appears that social media users misrepresented Diddy's courtroom statements and fabricated connections to Eddie Murphy to create more sensational content. The firestorm grew when some commentators on YouTube and TikTok began presenting speculative fiction as though it were factual reporting. Their aim was simple: to draw clicks and views, even if it meant spreading misinformation. It's easy to see why people were so quick to believe it. The Diddy trial itself is already packed with shocking allegations that have rocked the entertainment industry. Accusations of trafficking, coercion, and physical abuse have been thoroughly documented against Diddy. Key testimonies from ex-girlfriends, assistants, and former employees paint a deeply troubling picture of his alleged secret life. The evidence includes video recordings, text messages, and even accounts from other celebrities like Kid Cudi, who reported harassment and threats from Diddy's circle. On May 5th, 2025, the federal trial against Diddy officially began in Manhattan. Prosecutors charged him with racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transporting individuals for illegal purposes. They claim that Diddy orchestrated a long-running system of manipulation and abuse, using his wealth and influence to coerce people into attending drug-fueled freak-off parties. The allegations suggest these events have been happening since at least 2004, hidden behind the glittering facade of celebrity culture. The testimonies have been devastating. Cassie Ventura, one of the most crucial witnesses, shared disturbing details about years of abuse and manipulation. She described being physically assaulted and emotionally controlled, forced into situations she desperately wanted to escape. Supporting her story, prosecutors presented text messages, surveillance footage, and accounts from Diddy's former staff that further exposed the dark side of his personal life. One witness, known publicly as Jane, testified that Diddy had begun paying her rent and offering financial support, which made her feel trapped and obligated to comply with his demands. Another former assistant, referred to as Mia, described multiple instances of sexual assault and coercion that painted a harrowing picture of systematic abuse. Their stories, combined with physical evidence, left little room for doubt about the magnitude of the alleged misconduct. The weight of the accusations didn't stop there. Additional witnesses, including Kid Cudi, revealed that Diddy's network used intimidation tactics to silence people who dared to speak out. Cudi recounted threats and mysterious break-ins that seemed designed to instill fear. Investigators also uncovered a stash of digital evidence, including videos, financial transactions, and even stockpiles of unusual items like large quantities of baby oil, all raising more questions about the secret life Diddy is accused of leading. Some of the most damning pieces of evidence reportedly include video recordings of these notorious parties and financial records that prosecutors argue were used to manipulate and control attendees. Reports suggest Diddy and his team attempted to bribe people to withhold or destroy incriminating footage, further intensifying the case against him.
But the road to justice hasn't been without complications.
Midway through the trial, a juror was dismissed due to credibility issues, leading to unexpected delays. The prosecution also faced logistical hurdles as key witnesses like Brendan Paul needed time to appear due to health and scheduling conflicts. Brendan Paul, a former close associate of Diddy, was granted immunity to provide testimony about Diddy's operations and the inner workings of his exclusive parties.
Despite the defense's insistence that all encounters were consensual, the mounting testimonies and digital evidence have cast serious doubt. Diddy's legal team argued that many of the relationships and events being presented in court were misunderstood, taken out of context, or driven by ulterior motives. They pointed to affectionate text exchanges and long-standing connections as evidence that the situations were not as one-sided as portrayed.
As the prosecution nears the end of its case, public attention remains laser-focused on what comes next. Diddy faces the possibility of life in prison if convicted, and while it's not confirmed whether he will take the stand, his defense team is preparing for an aggressive pushback. The world watches as this trial unfolds, with each new testimony adding layers to the story.
But throughout it all, let's remember, Eddie Murphy was never part of this case. The wild rumors that placed him at the center of these accusations are just that, rumors. They have no basis in fact, no support in court documents, and no credible source behind them. In a time where viral headlines can shape public perception in minutes, the responsibility falls on all of us to verify, question, and dig deeper before accepting the next sensational story as truth.
The media coverage of this trial has been intense. Major networks like CNN, Fox News, NBC, and TMZ have continuously updated their stories as new developments emerged. The public has been hooked, dissecting every detail, speculating on every witness, and wondering whether Diddy will ultimately face the maximum penalty. Even international outlets like BBC and Al Jazeera have provided in-depth coverage, underscoring just how far-reaching this story has become.
Throughout the trial, public opinion has been divided. Some people believe Diddy is being unfairly targeted because of his wealth and status, while others argue that the pattern of accusations stretching back decades paints an undeniable picture of guilt. Celebrities, fans, and commentators have all weighed in, fueling debates across social media. One particularly viral moment came when actor Jamie Foxx publicly criticized Diddy, calling him a nasty mother effer during a candid interview. Fox's harsh words sent shockwaves across the industry, prompting renewed scrutiny on Diddy's past relationships and behaviors. Behind the courtroom drama, Diddy's defense team has been fighting fiercely. Their strategy revolves around framing the relationships as consensual and questioning the credibility of the accusers. They argue that the intimate text messages and long-standing connections suggest that the situations were far more complex than prosecution claims. Diddy's lawyers have also suggested that some witnesses might be motivated by financial gain or personal vendettas, rather than a genuine pursuit of justice.
As the trial progresses, the defense is preparing to present its side, and the big question remains: will Diddy testify in his own defense? It's a risky move that could either humanize him or unravel the case. Regardless of his choice, the outcome of this trial could set a precedent for how the entertainment industry handles allegations of this magnitude moving forward.
While the world waits for the verdict, it's essential to focus on the facts and avoid getting swept up by the next viral rumor. The Eddie Murphy narrative, though sensational, was never part of the real story. It serves as a powerful reminder of how quickly misinformation can spread and how easily public figures can become collateral damage in the age of instant headlines and click-driven media.
The rumors about Eddie Murphy are a cautionary tale. They show us how quickly a story can spiral out of control when people prioritize virality over truth. In this case, a fabricated connection became a trending topic, dragging an uninvolved celebrity into one of the most controversial trials in recent memory. It highlights just how vulnerable public figures are to false narratives that gain momentum online.
While Diddy's trial remains ongoing, the Eddie Murphy story stands as an important lesson about the modern media landscape. Not everything we see or hear should be taken at face value, especially when the stakes involve someone's reputation and legacy. In a world obsessed with clicks, likes, and shares, the line between reporting and storytelling has never been thinner. It's up to all of us to be more critical of the content we consume and share. The truth deserves more than to be drowned out by sensational lies. Eddie Murphy was never arrested, never testified, and was never connected to the case. And that is the reality. Moving forward, let's commit to digging deeper, questioning more, and not allowing headlines to define the truth without proper scrutiny.